Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Prez Podcast. I'm the Prez, and this is my co-host Kian. We're ready to do our Week 9 picks and also talk about Thursday night game between the Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's get into that game. First off, Tennessee goes into Pittsburgh and loses 2016. You know what? I'm going to say it right now. I think Tennessee has found their quarterback in Will Levis. I was really impressed with how he played. In fact, I thought he outplayed Kenny Pickett. The problem for Tim was that he had no offensive line. He had a lot of injuries on the offensive line and also not really a lot of talent. But I was really impressed with how he stuck it in there, all able to throw the ball off multiple arm angles and pretty accurate. He had some really nice throws and took care of the football for the most part, but he just didn't have enough time to get rid of it, which is what I thought would happen going in. For the Steelers, they set a record. First time ever in NFL history, a team after 8 weeks of the season has a winning record after being outgained in every game. That means they're just a miracle team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But hey, they're 5-3. They can't be too upset. They do have to figure out that offense, and George Pickens being upset for no reason. I don't know why you're upset, George. You're winning. I know you dropped a touchdown pass by not getting your second foot in. Pretty amazing. But you have to be happy that you're winning. So, what do you think?
I think that Will Levis played well, but ultimately Pittsburgh's defense was just able to shut their offense down. Of course, by getting pressure on Will Levis, and he still made good throws under pressure, but he held on to the ball too much and too long. I think he will improve on that, and that is a problem for a lot of young quarterbacks. But he just got sacked too much, and they weren't able to score enough points. And I do think Pittsburgh is probably the better team. And when you're facing good defense with an injured and untalented O-line, it's not going to go well. So ultimately, Pittsburgh should have won this game, and they did.
Alrighty. Now let's get into our Sunday picks, our top 5 games. By the way, Sunday slate is fantastic. Only if that Kansas City Miami game was on national television and not NFL Network. Yuck, yuck, yuck. But let's get into it.
6:30.
Yeah, 6:30 for us West Coasters.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. First game, Miami versus Kansas City, the Tyreek Hill Bowl, whatever you want to call it. This game should have some offense, but some improved defense. As Kansas City's defense obviously is playing pretty well this year. Miami's defense has had some up and downs, but Jalen Ramsey's back. I see that we're going to see them gradually improve under Vic Fangio. I think this game's going to be close. I really do. I think it's going to come down to turnovers. Unfortunately for Miami and Kansas City, their quarterbacks have turned the ball over a little more than they would like. Kansas City probably had played about as bad as they could last week. I don't think that'll happen. I think they're going to be a fired-up team. Patrick Mahomes is a great leader, and I expect Kansas City to come into this game really, really hyped up. Miami, obviously, they need to show that marquee win. They need that win that shows that they're for real, and here's a really good chance to do that.
Yep.
So I think this game will be really, really close, but I think in the end, I think Kansas City is still slightly better, so I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Yeah, so I think this could be a very high-scoring game with two very good offenses, but ultimately, I think the defenses is really what's going to be important here. And the Chiefs, they both have improved offenses, but I think the Chiefs overall have a better offense. Defense. Have a better defense right now, of course, I do think Miami's defense keep mixing them up right now, and I think their defense will continue to improve. But in this game right now, I think Kansas City, if they just hold them back just a bit more than Miami's defense holds back Kansas City's offense, then Kansas City will be able to get the win.
Okay. Next up, our early slate game, best one of the day, will be Seattle at Baltimore. Baltimore looking like the class of the AFC right now, and Seattle sitting, surprisingly in first place, even albeit by half a game in the NFC West. So big game for both teams, and a good chance to establish themselves at this point in the season, at the halfway mark. And the Ravens are trending up. and Seattle is defense is getting better too. I think their offense can improve a little bit.
Yeah.
So right now, I think Baltimore's a more complete team because of that. I think Seattle's shown flashes of being really good, and they'll get back-to-back drives, but then they'll go cold for a few quarters. Well, I think Baltimore is more consistently moving the football, and Lamar could be the MVP candidate for the year right now in my mind. So I think I'm going to take the Ravens at home, but I do think this will be a close game, similar to the Cincinnati-Seattle game that happened earlier this year. But give me Baltimore at home.
Yeah, so I agree. I think right now Baltimore is the better team. Seattle has been improving, and they've been looking really good at times. But Baltimore has just been playing so well that I don't know if Seattle will be able to stop them. Of course, this is the first time we're going to get to see Leonard Williams play on the Seahawks. Don't know how much of a difference he'll make in this game. But overall, I think he will make a difference on the defensive line. But Baltimore, they've just been playing so well. So they're the better team. I have to take them.
Okay. Then, afternoon, early evening game, another phenomenal matchup. We got the Cowboys visiting the Eagles. Both these teams have had this circle on the calendar. You know it's true. I know that 1 week, one game at a time. I know the schedule comes out. You look at the games, especially look at your divisional games, and this rivalry has been good for that division. And if Philly can win this game, they have a 2-game lead in the division and a really firm grip on the 1 seed in the NFC. For Dallas, what Dallas team are we going to get? The most bipolar team in the league. Even though they are 5-2, they really show up. But when their A game is pretty impressive. I think that Dallas will play them better than they have in recent years, and I think this game will be close. I think it comes down to Dak's play, of course, and the opportunities against a bad pass defense the Eagles are toting out there. If he can, and him and CeeDee Lamb, move him all over the field, get him lined up in good matchups, really exploit those seams, and also, I want to see Brandon Cooks push the ball down the field. I want to see them be aggressive in the pass game. For Philadelphia, it's business as normal. Make sure that Jalen Hurts stays healthy and just kind of move the ball and find A.J. Brown. And I think this game will kind of be a little bit of a shootout in my mind, actually. I know they both got good defensive fronts, but we're facing 2 good offenses here. So I think this game will be like 31-27. But I'm going to take the Eagles.
Yeah, so in my opinion, the Eagles are the best team in the league, and they've just been extremely consistent on the offense and the defense, but the Cowboys have also been pretty good, and it is a divisional game. I think they'll really want to win this game, but the Eagles are just a better team right now, and their offense and defense are just good and better and just complete. So I think that they pull out this one.
Okay. Then we got a nice Sunday night game. It's a great slate for Sunday. We got the Buffalo Bills at the Cincinnati Bengals. Now these are 2 teams that were picked maybe top 3 by everybody. It was a Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati the last few years. Those have been the key teams in the AFC. And now Buffalo is 5-3 and Cincinnati 4-3. And Cincinnati, if they lose this game, would fall to last place in their division. Not a good spot. I mean, that is the best division in football. Buffalo, they're trying to stay in pace with Miami for that division. So a lot resting this game. Also, there's playoff implications for if you lose this game and trying to get in late in the year. So really big game between these 2 teams. Now, the funny thing about this is Joe Burrow is finally back to healthy. Everybody saw the way he was moving against San Francisco last week. Really, really looks like he's got his mobility back and his trust in his body. Really driving the football. Really looking really in tune with his receivers. Even got T. Higgins involved a little bit more than they have so far this year. And for Buffalo, it's the opposite. Josh Allen had been healthy, really playing well, putting up numbers, but that shoulder injury, didn't practice for a few days this week. He is going to play, but it'll be interesting to see how they use him. They're trying to run the ball with him less, and I think James Cook has been actually pretty good running the football for them, almost 5 yards a carry. So they did bring in Leonard Fournette because they really don't trust Latavius Murray anymore, especially on short yardage downs. So I think this game will be closer than the playoff game last year where Cincinnati really, just took it to Buffalo. and I think this game will be close. Another great game, close game down to the wire. But I just kind of like the way the Bengals are trending right now. I feel like they, coming off that bye week, they looked really good against San Francisco. They're really getting their confidence back, and I think Cincinnati wins in a close one. I'm going to say Cincinnati 27-24.
This is probably the toughest game for me because the Bengals, they've been looking better and the Bills have been looking worse. Just don't know if Bengals have surpassed the Bills yet. Of course, that's a tough decision. And that Bengals offense has been looking a lot better. Joe Burrow's been playing really good. And Buffalo, if their defense doesn't play well, then it's tough. And if their offense doesn't play well, which it might, then it's tough. But I think that if they do cause pressure and potentially hold back the Bengals, then they could outscore them on offense. So I'm taking the Bills here in a close last-minute game.
Awesome. All right, fifth game of the week, Monday night. We're taking all the primetime games this week to cover. We're going Chargers, going to the New York Jets. Now, the funny thing about the Chargers, they lost two, they won two. They lost two, they won one against the Bears, and I think they're going to win again against the Jets. They're going to go back to 500, keep Brandon Staley alive. He wasn't the first coach fired. Thank you, Josh McDaniels. For that, Brandon Staley thanks you. But the Jets, the problem for me is still, even as good as their defense playing, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed back, their front seven is amazing, get pressure. This is about quarterback play. I'm not reading too much into the Chargers' improvement on defense against the bad Bears team last week. And a very young quarterback in Tyson Bagent, who I didn't think played bad in that game. But I'm not reading too much into that the Chargers will be better. This, for me, is just about Zach Wilson and his inefficiency on offense and that offensive line. The Jets may have one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And so he's constantly scrambling. He's not able to look at his second or third reads. A lot of the time, it's either get the ball out or scramble and throw it away. And also, it hurts their run game when they don't have a consistent run game. So the Jets are just so inept on offense that I think the Chargers will do enough to win this game 17-13.
I agree. I also have the Chargers winning this game. I think they're the better team overall. If Zach Wilson doesn't play well this game and the Chargers defense does enough, then the Chargers will be able to outscore them, and their offense, I think, will play well. So overall, the Chargers, I think that they are the better team right now, so they should win this game.
Okay. All right, those are our deep dives. Let's go to our quick picks. Vikings lose Kirk Cousins, starting Jaron Hall. Yeah, another BYU kid. And going to Atlanta against Taylor Heineke. Give me Heineke and the revamped Atlanta offense at home against a better than expected Minnesota defense. I just don't trust Jaron Hall to do much in this game, but I like the signing of Joshua Dobbs going forward for the Vikings, keep him in the playoff hunt. But give me the Falcons.
I think this is going to be a really close game, but for me, I think that Minnesota, if they do cause turnovers and Taylor Heineke doesn't play that well, then they do have a decent shot of winning. And I have the Vikings win this game.
Next up, Tampa Bay in a bit of a losing streak, going to Houston, who lost a game on the road last week. Finding that Houston may be the good-bad team or the bad-good team. They just have some stuff they still need to fix. It wasn't because of C.J. Stroud. They're just missing some pieces in Houston. Tampa Bay still got a good core. They played Buffalo decently well. I'm going to take the Bucs on the road here in Houston.
I do think this is going to be a close game, but for me, I'm going to have the Texans winning this game. I think that they could potentially play better on offense, and if the Bucs don't do good in the run game and the Texans can prevent their pass game, then I think the Texans' offense will outscore them.
Okay. Next up, we got the Cardinals going to Cleveland. Cardinals now are turning the ball over to Clayton Tune against Cleveland. Cleveland, here's your game plan for you. I don't care who's playing quarterback. I know Deshaun Watson's coming back, But all you do is hand the ball off. You just run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. If you do have to throw it, you only throw it to Amari Cooper. That's it. He's the only one that you're going to throw the ball to. If he's not there, you throw it out of bounds. You stop turning the ball over, and you just rely on that monster defense, and you win this game by 3 touchdowns.
I have Cleveland winning this game because I think they're a right there at potentially a top 10 team in the league, and of course, the defense against the Cardinals with the rookie quarterback taking them in the late rounds, I think they're gonna win.
All right, next game, Rams going to Green Bay. Not sure what Stafford's status will be. He got that injury to the thumb. Won't know until game time. Otherwise, it's ripping getting the start. Jordan Love, all the people that want to get on Jordan Love, remember that Aaron Rodgers had a full season and the Packers didn't make the playoffs. He's got really, really young receivers. He doesn't have any quality targets to hit except for maybe Aaron Jones on the backfield. Hey, do that more. A few more quick passes to the running backs. Give him some time back there. And also, he's hitting people accurately to dropping the pass. So all this Jordan Love hate, don't understand it. He needs more veteran receivers, veteran pieces around him that he can trust. They're going to grow together. Give it time. But either way, I think they'll play better this week. And with Matthew Stafford's status unknown, I'm going to take the Packers at home.
This is another tough decision for me because both of these teams don't look amazing. I think they're both kind of mediocre. The Rams just need some more talent just all around. But potentially they've been looking very good, especially on that offense. Kyron Williams playing well, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. And if they do play well against the Packers defense, then I think they could win this game.
Next up, Commanders go to New England. I don't know what's going on in the Commanders locker room. You see Montez Sweat go. You see Chase Young go. Like, what are we doing here? What's the plan? I guess they probably want to spend money on the offensive line to just let Sam Howell get beat up like crazy. I think New England will give a tough game plan, pick off Howell a few times, win this game. Give me the Patriots.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a close game. Of course, trade away both of their edge rushers on what was the biggest strength of that team. But overall, I still think that they are, in my opinion, probably a better team overall. And if they do play well on other parts of the defense, then I think they could win this game.
Next up, Bears go to down easy. I can't even. I'm just messing it up. They go to New Orleans. Have you heard of it? New Orleans. I've heard of it. I'll say that. They're going to New Orleans, and just like I can't say exactly what I want to say, I don't think the Bears are going to play that well. I think the Bears get blown out by the Saints, and I think David Carr is starting to learn that offense a little bit better. Look for them to put up some points. Huh?
I think you said David.
Derek Carr. David Carr was his older brother.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the Saints are a better team overall, and I don't think the Bears are going to win this game. They did trade for Montez Sweat, a bit of an interesting trade, but they're still just nowhere as good overall. The Saints are going to win this.
All right, next up, Colts going into Carolina. Revenge game for Frank Reich. Going to throw the kitchen sink at his Colts. Problem for him is the Panthers are not that good. I know you won last week by 1 point. Congrats on that. You're not going to go 0-16. Glad to see no teams are going to do that this year. But I think the Colts offense will be too much. Give me the Colts on the road.
Yeah, I think the Colts offense has been playing well, and the Panthers are just probably one of the worst teams in the league. So I think the Colts are going to win this.
Lastly, we got the sad New York Giants who lost the game in ways I never thought I'd see possible last week. And the new Vegas Raiders. New GM gone, new head coach gone, Antonio Pierce taking over. I think this team's going to come out mad and pumped, and they're starting Aiden O'Connell. While I think the Giants' defense is playing well, their offense is a dumpster fire. So give me the Raiders, invigorated at home, to win this game.
I do think the Raiders are a better team overall right now, so I think they're gonna win this game. It might be kind of close, but I don't think this is gonna be a very good game. But the Raiders are just gonna barely win it.
Okay, that's it for our Week 9 picks. Have a great Sunday and Monday watching football. We'll be back next week with our power rankings, and we hope you have a great Sunday.